Some of the things that we are very happy about in terms of indicators, if you will, of how lives have changed. Retention rate went up from fall to spring. That was huge. Students cannot be successful in getting where they need to go in life if they leave before they've accomplished the goals they set out to accomplish here. So the fact that students stayed at a higher rate, I think speaks to the hard work of everybody in this room and everybody in the college, full-time, part-time, permanent, temporary, in terms of making things work for our students. As we all know, students often look for an excuse to leave. Many of us do in life. We look for somebody just to do that one thing that will tick us off and send us to another car dealer, to another retail outlet, to whatever else it is in life. So many of our students come to us not necessarily strongly committed to what it is they're trying to do, and sometimes not understanding all that they're trying to do. Many not, but many are in that situation. So it's easy for a student to get off track. Very easy for a student to get off track, as we sometimes do just in our normal lives. So the fact that our retention rate went up, again, from my perspective, speaks to all the hard work that a lot of people did in making little things work for students. It might have been staying after class a couple minutes. It might have been giving somebody the time of day when you really were in a hurry to get something else done. It might have been taking more time with the change of major than you ever thought the person would need to take, but the person needed it, you gave it. It may be explaining something that you felt like you'd explained 110 times and you wondered why 111 would make any difference, but you did it anyway. And that makes a huge difference to our students. So thanks for that measurable piece that we saw from fall to spring. And we can't quantify, if you will, everything, but everything we do is not just quantitative. There are some qualitative pieces too. And I'd like to speak to a couple of those. Where's the coach? I see him. I'm embarrassing a little bit. A student sent a letter, an email to the coach, an unnamed faculty member sitting in this room, and said, "Hey coach, thanks for the opportunity to go to Boston on the trip, because it really changed my life. So my bad for not contacting you sooner, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't tell you thanks sooner, but I'm here to tell you now, as I think a senior at Clemson, that experience changed my life." And the student went on to say how that experience changed her life. So Dr. Simmons, it's cool when you make a difference. And others that are on that trip that take time to do things that are not easy to do. Try to corral, it's tough enough to corral 20 students in a classroom. Take the students out of the classroom and on a plane or on a bus or in a big city. That's tough to do. But thanks to Todd and many others who have taken our students outside the classroom to do something and have thereby changed their lives. Not intentionally. I don't think any of our faculty got to say, "I'm going to change this kid's life with this trip." But being outside the classroom with people we respect as students and learning by watching people and learning by being exposed to other things is huge for our students. So that letter, that email that somehow made a trail to me, and I really do not recall how, but thanks, I think Robin may have sent that. That was her fault. But that is an example of, in a qualitative way, changing a student's life. It was not the GPA, it was not the pictures on the wall, it was not an award, but a student going, "I see life different now, I found my place." And I think that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about. Another student, some of you may have seen the story, it was in, I think, the Easily Progress. All of them were Easily Progress. I think that was where it was, Lisa. But Lisa wrote a story about a not-so-young man who had a career in another field, decided it's time to do something different with life, so about age 45 or so, showed up here on campus and started taking science classes. And he survived our science faculty. He made good grades in our science faculty, and he went over to Clemson to do, he already had a baccalaureate degree, he wanted to be a nurse. So he went over came here and did his science, got good advice, and then transferred to Clemson into the BSN, accelerated BSN program. And his email, if you will, it was one of those snow days we had. I got an email from him, I guess he couldn't go to work, ice day. And I got this email from the student, former student, that said, "I just want to say thanks for the education I got at Tri-County, because when I went to Clemson and I was in class with people that were from Chapel Hill and Duke and Clemson and Wake and Appalachian State, and you fill in the blank that were in my program together with me, the accelerated BSN," he said, "I was better prepared than any of them from my way of seeing things." And he finished with a BSN and now is an oncology nurse. have a tri-county degree. I said, figure out if we can get this guy one. I don't think he's enough work. I don't think he's enough work to qualify. I'm not sure about that. But so Lisa wrote a story about him, contacted him. He did not say enough good things about how in the classroom he was so well prepared to get to the next place in life. So what a nice testament from a student of the good work that our faculty do. Other students I've heard before the Workforce Investment Board, on which I sit, have come in and said, gee, I was in this situation in life, I had no hope, I had no plans, I had no money, and somehow through the Workforce Investment Board and through the Employment Security, or the Department of Employment Workforce, they received some money and came to Tri-County and completed the CNA, and then I think the nursing program, and did some other, and progressed on to where her life was radically changed. To hear her say in front of the Workforce Board, I can take care of my family now, I could not before. That's pretty cool. And yes, she got some assistance from other places, but the programs here changed her life. I think she actually came to us as a non-credit student and then as a credit student, so it changed her life. That's the piece I don't know how to measure, quite honestly. I'll tell you a story quickly about a young man that a couple people in the room heard me speak of yesterday. We've not made a difference yet in this young man's life, but he figured out we need to make a difference. I went to speak to a group last week, a couple weeks ago at Carolina High School, and I went to speak to the group of students, and the room was dark as if we turned off every lights and there was nothing on the computers. I could not see past the first row. I don't know if there were, I couldn't see. I don't know how many people in the room. And not only were the lights, it was dark, the PA didn't work, so I had to scream literally. The PA went off right before I got there and they couldn't fix it. So it was not my favorite place to kind of speak. I like to see the audience and I like to be able to not yell. So afterwards, I just talked to the students about the honor they were receiving and how proud I was of them and what it took to make it in life from my perspective. And there was one young man in the back of the room, and I had not a clue why he was there, other than some faculty member said, you need to be there because I have something else to do, because he was not part of the group being inducted into this society. So I got an email Friday from this student, and Renee's already followed up with him, so thanks to Renee for doing that. But I got an email from the student that said, it's kind of tough here at Carolina High School. My best friend was murdered last year in his senior year. He said, neither one of my older brothers finished high school. They didn't get a GED. They're in prison. He said, I just made a commitment. I'm not going to do that. He said, but it's pretty tough. And that's a tough neighborhood, quite honestly. That's a pretty tough neighborhood. You know that neighborhood, intersection of 81 and 25 in Greenville. So he sent an email and said, I was in the back of the room and I heard you talk, and I want to have a different kind of life. Can you help me figure out how to do that? I want out of here, and I don't want to end up like my brothers or like my best friend. You know, that's pretty moving to me. So I responded, and we've got some individuals here that can follow up with the young man. And fortunately, I know some faculty at that high school that will reach out and touch him and make sure he gets in the right place. But even before he started college, he realized, I can go and my life can be different. And that's why we do what we do every day. And I don't have to put a price tag on that. And many of you have had those kind of experiences also. But I do not know how to put a price tag on that. But that's that personal difference that our college makes. But we also make a public difference, and we don't talk about that much. If we think about how we shape our community, transforming lives, shaping the community. If you think about that young man I just mentioned, if he can kind of break the cycle and live through his neighborhood, quite honestly, and not end up in jail like his brothers, think about the good he will do for the community and help him shape his community. Instead of taking from the system, he wants to give back. He wants to be better. So when we invest in individuals, quite honestly, we invest in the whole community, and that's something I think we don't think about enough. It is important to do what we do with our individuals and with our students, but every time we do that, we make this a better place to live. Quite honestly, we all have a vested interest in our students' success, not just for their individual success, but when our students are successful, our community works. And that's the shaping of the community. Some of those qualitative pieces we talk about for the community. Students volunteer, community causes. They're not on social welfare programs. You know, if we ask Stacy, adjunct faculty member from Arts and Sciences, to kind of get up here and draw Maslow's, you do that in a heartbeat, and we talk about meeting those needs. on that hierarchy of needs, and when our students can meet those fundamental needs, they can start doing those other things for the family, but also for the community. So the community's a better place. So let's not forget that role that we play. It's about getting our students, we talk about getting them jobs, often in the economic development piece. But when students can do that and have a living wage, then all that other stuff starts to work, and we have the opportunity for that to work. So that's the qualitative piece, I think, that we probably do not take enough credit for. But the way we do it, when we do those, stacking those students up, if you will, they make that wall that works, they make the community work. So having possibilities, having real hope, hope's got to have some object out there. It's not just I hope things work out better. But when our students get the opportunity to work, get the opportunity, they can actually have real hope for a better life when they've been here. So the other, and again, I think about that young man, the qualitative sort of piece I do not know how to gauge. It's called understanding that there's opportunity in life, and I don't have to be trapped where I am. I don't know how to measure that, but that's what we do for a heck of a lot of our students. So thanks for your good work in that regard. Yep, we can measure a lot of stuff. We can measure return on investment to the taxpayers. We can measure return on investment to the student in terms of dollars in, dollars back, and that's important. We just did our presentations in the last 3 weeks to our county councils, and trust me, we talked about return on investment so they would understand for every dollar they put in, they're getting back $3 or more easily. We help them understand the value to the community in terms of the taxes people pay when they get to go to work and buy a house or pay sales taxes or whatever else. Those are all important, but at the end of the day, we could have a lot of money in the bank and have a stinking life. I think the thing that we do that is most important is really how we transform the community by investing in our students, and I think that's the most important thing that we do. Many of you have that attitude, and I just appreciate that attitude and that kind of work that we do every day. So when you see that transforming lives, shaping the community, it's just not the slogan, but that's how we shape our community. And we are a college in the community. We are a college for the community. We can play with our names, but our job here in these 3 counties is to make our community a better place to live, work, and play. And how do we do that? We do it one person at a time. And that's what we do here. And that's a personal word of thanks. I think one person, one of our faculty members here, and I'm going to pick on Stacy Smith, a new faculty member, and she went through the Learning College 101 class this year, and I think that's just a super thing that we're doing. I want everybody to do that. So just such a positive impact for our new faculty. So let me read a quote from Stacy, and she was reflecting on what it means when we talk about our partnerships with our students to help them get where they need to be in life. This is a quote: "Teaching and learning should be a partnership between the student and the instructor. The bond formed in the classroom inspires me, and the rapport that I have with students is central to my philosophy. We are responsible to one another to ensure that the learning experience is effective." That's one-on-one, one at a time. When we do that, the other pieces work. So I want to say thanks to all of you for making it work. Thanks for the partnership, for the bonds, for the rapport, for investing in students. I like to tell people we're in the people building and life changing business. And sometimes when we're talking about budgets or worrying about a roadbed washed out or whatever else it might be, or the lights, or why the system did or did not work, it's easy to get fixed on those and let them run our life or change our attitude and kind of get emotion involved in them. But for me, if I get back to that, it's all about changing our students' lives. Then the other stuff is in perspective and it makes sense to me. So thanks for your good work. Thanks for a good year. We have miles to go before we sleep, if I could say. Even this year, it's called graduation and posting, finishing those grades and everything else. But a fresh new start coming. So again, thanks for your good work, and thanks for all that you've done and for the